Hi, my name is Colleen Carey, and I'm going to be your student SAGE teacher this year, and I wanted to say a quick hello and welcome back, and also tell you a little bit about the services that your students should be receiving this year. So I want to start out with the curriculum outline. So here you can see that we are going to be covering lots of different topics, and it's going to be an exciting year with lots of interesting lessons. So the first thing we're going to start doing is the unit of study, which is Mind Over Matter. And we have our big question, which I'm going to read to you so you can hear it. So it's going to be, is it your mind, the matter around you, or an interaction between the two that makes us who we are? So we're going to be studying this question using these lessons here. So we're going to do the unit of study on the brain in the beginning for the first 2 months, and then we're going to take a break and do our independent investigations, which I'll send out information of when we get closer to November, as that's when we're going to be starting. So a change from last year is we're going to be starting the independent investigations a month earlier, and so hopefully we'll have some time at the end for presentations, and it won't be so crazy as the previous years. So after the independent investigations, we'll go back to the Mind Over Matter unit, and we'll finish up the study with the fall lessons, so we'll review those, and then we'll go into debates and some other interesting activities. So that's kind of how we're going to start the year and go throughout with the independent investigations and then finish up. So at the beginning of the year, your student will come home with this homework. So it's a KW chart, and so this will be the first homework assignment they have. They're going to have to look at their amazing brain. What do they know about it? What do they question about the brain? What do they want to know more about? And then at the end, they're going to fill out the what I learned. With homework this year, they're going to receive a packet that looks like this. So it's going to have the date and then the homework assignment. And so they're going to put the date of class. So if it is Monday the 13th, they will put Monday the 13th, and then you'll know 7 days later on the 20th, that's when the homework assignment is due. So the students are going to have homework every single week. It should take them about 15 to 30 minutes, so not too long, especially throughout a week. That's 5 minutes a day if they break it up during the school week. And then with the homework, if they don't bring it in, we have the same system as last year, that I will give a late homework notice. The late homework notice will be filled out by me. The student will sign it, I will sign it, and then I'll ask that you sign it as well. That way everybody is informed that there was a late homework or missed homework, and there aren't any surprises. Now, I will put an X up here, so 1, 2, 3 X's is the maximum number of X's your student can get. So if it's the first missed homework assignment, they'll have 1 X. If it's the second homework assignment they've missed, it's 2 X's, and then 3 X's. After 3 X's, I will ask that you come in for a conference, so that way we can talk about some strategies to prevent, the student from forgetting their homework again. All right, so that's homework. I think that's everything. Oh, if your student is having trouble with the homework, I prefer getting contacted 24 hours prior to class so that I know that the student's having difficulty. If you contact me on Tuesday and their class is on Mondays, then it gives me plenty of time to go see the student, talk with them about the homework assignment, and clarify any questions they have. But if I'm contacted on Sunday night and they have class on Monday, I really can't, do much about it other than, see them in class and say, okay, let's work on it for next week. So that's kind of homework expectations. So just email me. The parent needs to email me, not the student, saying that they need help or that they are going to, need some further assistance. That way you know as well how they're doing in class and how they're doing on the assignments. And it's not a surprise of, oh, you've been fine this whole entire year, and then you find out that you were having some trouble in a certain area. All right, I think that's all for pullouts. A pullout, again, is once a week for 1 hour. They're going to be following the curriculum that is laid out on the sheet here. Their homework assignments are going to be due every week. They'll be written on this packet. If they miss a homework assignment, they're going to get this notice. I'll get a copy. You'll get a copy. Everybody will be informed. After 3 missed homeworks, then we will have a conference and work on strategies to prevent that from happening in the future. Now, the next thing is integration. Integration this year is going to be a half hour per week, and so for some grade levels. So it depends on how many groups there are in each grade level. So second grade, there are 3 groups or 3 classes at both schools, and so that means that they're going to have an hour and a half of integration in the whole entire grade. But 5th grade, they only have 2 groups. So that means they're going to have an hour of integration at that time. And so the integration was based off how many groups or classes they have. So each class gets a half hour. So your student will be serviced for a half hour. And I tried doing it during writing, so most of the integrations will be either during writing or reading. So you'll hear more about that, I'm sure, from your students. And then I just want to make sure I covered everything. So let's see. We have the integration, we have the pull-out services, talked about how big classes are so I try to keep the classes as small as possible. So 5 is usually where I try to keep it around. Some classes get up to 8 or 9. It's not until I hit the 10th student that I'll split the class usually. And that's just to help during, social skills classes. We do a lot of that just interacting with peers and how you communicate with them. And so it's really important to have a smaller group so that way I can, improve the instruction and have more individualized time with the students, as well as during independent investigations. The students conference with me weekly, and so it's really important to have a smaller class size so I have time to conference with them. And if they're doing an experiment, a survey, and they really need help on, controlled experiments or something like that, then it's good for me to have a longer period of time to talk with them rather than a really quick check-in. All right, the next thing, let's see, homework expectations I've talked about, mind over matter I talked about, independent investigations. So I will send out an email about this when we get closer. As I said, we're going to start in November. This is where the students create a project using our higher order thinking skills, so analyzing, evaluating, and creating. And they have to have 2 of those, so they have to analyze and evaluate something and then create something on their own. So that's, personal to them, something that they have created and not, taken from someone else, so like a model and things that are already made for them. That doesn't have lots of higher order thinking, so we want something that's original to them. I know that was quick, but I'll go more in detail when it gets closer. All right, now I do have a website, so if you want to keep up to date, you can use the website, and that will be updated weekly, sometimes bi-weekly if it's a crazy time, which I try to do it every Tuesday, but it might not work out that way, and this year it'll probably be on Thursdays. So you can contact me through email. Everyone has my email now through this message that I sent to you. You can also contact me by phone. You can call the SAGE office and they can give you the direct line. Or I'm starting something new this year where I will be sending out text alerts. And so if there's an assignment that's due, if there is something that I need to get out to students immediately, I'm going to be texting announcements instead. So if you would like to receive text messages from me, you can text HEMAND, so HEMAND, to the number 81010. By doing this, it will sign you up with my class as a texting. So that way you can text me, I can text you back, and I can send messages about the class. If your student did a really great job, I can send a quick message to you. So it's really a nice way to communicate in addition to emails and phone calls. So I'll send out that information again in the email because I know that's difficult to write down as I'm talking, and that way we can explore it together. So if you have any questions, I know I went through things really quickly, and it's probably all scattered because I have people walking by my room right now with lunch, so I've been distracted a little bit when talking to you. But hopefully this kind of gives you a better idea of what to expect this year, and I look forward to meeting you. Also, I forgot to mention, for any new families who have students joining the SAGE or receiving SAGE services, I wanted to tell you that I will be holding conferences this year for you, as well as students or parents who have concerns about their students or just want to sit down and meet and see how they're doing. So there will be a report card that comes home in addition to the conferences, and then hopefully those will all get out to you. I will be sending those home with the students. If you were with me last year, you saw that we had some trouble during the summer getting the report cards home, so I will be hand delivering those to all of the students, and so we won't have any problems. All right, I think that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. Text the number text HEMAND to the number, let me just pull up the number again, 81010 if you want to get text alerts from me, and let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you. Bye.